I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of Our Take on Cruise with Roger and Shannon, or
Shannon, Roger, and Pippa.
Pippa's down here. We will let her introduce herself in a minute, but before she does, I'm Roger Blum with Cruise and Port Advisors, and as always,
Shannon McKee of Access Cruise, and it has been a busy week, Roger. There's lots to talk about. But one of the things that I did want to talk about is because we got a chance to catch up with Seatrade this week. We're both ambassadors, and they have been very busy. Well, first of all, obviously we have Seatrade Hamburg just around the corner, which is coming up on September 6th through the 8th.
that's right, in Hamburg.
That's right, in Hamburg. I'm going to be hosting a session, which I'm really excited about, which also all about how the cruise lines are giving back to destinations. And I think this is such an important piece on how we involve the community.
Yep.
So I'm really excited. We'll be announcing very soon who is on the panel. And I know you're also going to be talking about itinerary planning.
That's right. So we're taking this another step further. We've had a couple sessions in the last few sea trades discussing sustainability and everything that goes into itineraries, but we really want to take it to the next step. So it's going to be a really interesting session. We'll also be announcing our speakers in the next couple weeks. We've got the confirmations coming in. So it's going to be a great session. But then immediately following it, the Seatrade gang, they have so much time to relax because they have just announced Seatrade Asia Pacific. Sorry, the dog keeps pulling. Seatrade Asia Pacific, just like 6 weeks afterwards. So
I know that's going to be happening October 24th to the 26th in Hong Kong. So for those of you that won't be able to make Hamburg, we hope that you'll be able to make it out to Hong Kong because it looks like another great lineup. It's a little bit shorter. It's just the 2 days instead of 3 days, but I think it would be wonderful to get out to Hong Kong. They are open. They're taking ships. China is back on the upswing, and so it'll be exciting to see what happens out there.
I think that's going to be a great conference. People have been waiting for so long for Asia to reopen, and they're going to reopen with a bang. So it's great.
But of course, we know there's always Seatrade happening in the spring. It's going to happen in April of this next year in 2024. But alongside of that, last year, Seatrade launched the Seatrade F&B at Sea, which I thought was a huge hit in Fort Lauderdale.
It was so cool.
It was really
cool.
And it's going to be a 2-day conference this year, simultaneously with Seatrade Global in Miami, but it's not going to be at the convention center. It's actually going to be in Wynwood. And for those of you that aren't from Miami, Wynwood is a super hot, trendy location, a lot of fun. So I think it's going to be a great conference, F&B at Sea.
It will be, and it's going to be a much bigger venue because last year what they did was, or this past one, was amazing what they did for the first one in the cruise terminals, but they needed a much bigger venue. So it was so popular, and I can't wait to see this year's.
And I'm already talking about a year from now, because a year from now we are going back to Spain. We're going back to Malaga. And I have to say, we were there last year, and I loved Malaga. I thought it was a terrific conference. I'm really glad to see that they're going back next year. And you should go ahead and mark your calendars now for the end of September. And I don't have the dates. I believe it's the 24th through the 26th of September to go back and spend a little time exploring even outside of Malaga, like you and I did, and go to El Pimpi for some, right? So, to El Pimpi for the restaurant for some appetizers, right? Or they don't call them appetizers in Spain. Tapas in Spain.
But yeah, you said it all. Malaga was a great city. We loved it. And after Seatrade in Malaga last year, my wife and I rented a car and just drove around the south of Spain for a week. And
even more.
We loved it. We loved it. So that's great. What else? Oh, last week we talked about these luxury lines that are having their inaugurals last week, including the new Crystal coming back with their ship. The reviews I hear it's fantastic.
I've seen all kinds of pictures all over social media. It looks spectacular.
It's incredible. But they just announced, and I got to admit, it's not a surprise that they're going to be building 4 new ships.
Over 6 years.
Over 6 years. So that's not really a surprise because I don't think anybody imagined that A&K was getting into this to run these 2 ships. This is just the start of what Crystal's going to be doing. They've got an incredible reputation, an incredible name. So this is not a surprise, but it's a real great announcement that they're building 4 new ships.
Yes, and also around, because luxury and expedition seem to be the two categories that are just growing exponentially. So going back to the expedition, I just saw Seatrade released an expedition report, which Liz Gammon has been researching, and I was reading through it, and it was talking about how the expedition ships are now looking at warmer waters for what they're going to do in the off season when they're not in the Arctic and the two poles. But what I also loved is that this year, if you didn't know, which I'm very excited about, is in the St. Lawrence, who we've been working with, Access Cruise has been working with for the last couple of years, they're going to receive a Ponant ship, and the Ponant ship is going to be doing winter sailings in the St. Lawrence, which I also think is super fun in that expedition space. There's so much to do up there.
I think this is so cool.
Yes, going into Montreal and Quebec City, it's a lot of fun.
Winter cruises in northern climates, I think it's cool.
Go ice fishing.
Could even be cold. No, I'm going to go with cool. And as far as the expedition ships in those interim seasons between the southern cruises and the northern cruises, they can reach some very, excuse the expression, cool destinations in these warmer places. That's right. There's these little islands, little coves, little places that even the small ships can't. But these expedition ships can get into places that you normally can't go to. So I think it's great.
I do too. Well, there's going to be a lot to talk about in Seatrade Hamburg. We are going to introduce Pippa. There she is.
Pippa has been on before, but not for a while.
Not for a while. We're going to have to bring Sunny and Shadow back too someday, huh?
That's right. So Pips says
so we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye, Pippa.